Hi friends, today I'm going to cover one of the important feature of infrastructure as service, that is Azure VM or AWS EC2 or GCP Compute Engine. These are usually used for various purposes, especially when you want to launch your on-premises workloads to the infrastructure as service on the cloud. Let us have a look what is the administration activities you usually need to perform. Before getting into the administrative activities, let us have a look at few of the use cases. So if you want to host your production environments to the cloud, you can definitely make use of VM or EC2 or Compute Engine. Similarly, you usually use your dev and test environments for maybe the 3 months or 6 months life cycle. So after that you will have to collapse them, right? So in that case, you can just simply create those dev and test environments on the cloud and terminate them when the work is over, so that you can save the cost on the environments. The other use case is like backup and disaster recovery. Assume that you have configured your on-premises servers in maybe US region and you want to set it up your disaster recovery or backup servers in the other region. Then you can take up the VMs or EC2 instances or Compute Engine on the cloud, and you can set up your complete disaster recovery strategy and backup strategy on the cloud itself. You can also use for product databases and catalogs. You can also use high performance computing. Maybe if you are testing something on GPU based missions, then also you can make use of the cloud resources rather than purchasing the complete hardware which is required for your temporary or permanent requirements. So there are plenty of more cases, but I just listed on few here. You can use for the DevOps missions, or you can use for the Kubernetes, or you can use the missions for running some kind of services, and you can use for your file servers, mail servers. There are plenty of cases studies. Anyway, let us go for the administration tasks. So these are the few things you perform as part of your administrative job. One is like selecting the right instance. There are plenty of options available on the cloud, especially in the EC2 or VM or Compute Engine. So you will need to select the right instance. The next job which you may usually perform is creating the images. Assume that you are getting a requirement of creating 30 instances of the same configuration and software. Then you can't separately or manually do that job. It's very tough and a time taking process. In that case, you can create one instance with all the softwares required, and then after that you can create an image on top of the VM instance you have created. Then by using that particular image, you will be able to create number of instances you required as per your requirement. So it will save plenty of time, and it will also avoid human errors, because you are creating an image and from image you are trying to create the number of instances. You can also do it by using the infrastructure as code. The next one is creating snapshots. So if you are running one instance, you should always have a snapshot of that image, so that you will be able to restore when you got unexpected failures or unexpected data loss of that particular instance. So creating the instance or scheduling, capturing the instance is also another job will be performed by administrator. The next one is monitoring. You will need to continuously monitor, and you will need to enable the monitoring tools which are automated. Every cloud provider has their own, like Azure Monitor, or you can also use AWS CloudWatch. So the next one is balancing the load. If you are configuring maybe 20-30 different instances, and you will need to balance the load between those servers, that's where you have load balancing option. Every cloud provider has their own load balancing option. The next one is security of those instances you have launched. So you have to enable some kind of security, like it could be the network security groups or VNet, VPC, firewalls, security centers, Sentinel. There are plenty of options available where you can enable more and more levels of security to secure your VMs or compute engines or EC2 instances. The next one is infrastructure automation. So infrastructure automation will really help you to avoid your manual job and also the human errors. So you will automate everything like creating the instances or maybe the certain actions to sleep your, to terminate your missions or to stop your missions for certain time or during the certain intervals. All those things can be automated. The next one is high availability. You have to make sure and will be responsible to make your instances highly available. So to increase your SLAs, like in terms of the nines, increasing the nines of your VM instances, you have different type of strategies, like maybe you can auto scale or you can create failovers. You can create the failovers to the different regions. So there are different ways you can adapt one of them based on the budget available for that particular project. So with that you can also fulfill high availability as part of the administration task. The next one is disaster recovery. What if the disaster happened or unexpected incidents happened in the particular region? Then you should also have some kind of disaster recovery strategy or a plan to recover from that particular disaster. So in that case you should also be ready for disaster recovery plan. There are plenty of options available again on each cloud. On your Azure you can check for the Azure site recovery. Coming to the installing and configuring, so probably you have to install the softwares based on the various teams requirement in those particular servers, or you need to configure the various things. It can be coming at the time of the creation or maybe like later, 1 month later, or sometimes they come up based on the changes happening on the OS or changes happening in their software development. So at a nutshell, you will be ready. You should be ready to add more storage, more disk, and upscale. Probably if you can do that through the code, like infrastructure as a code by using ARM templates or Terraform or CloudFormation, that will be really good. So the next one is different pricing models available on each cloud. If I'm missing any of the pricing model, please feel free to comment, because they keep on coming with the new pricing models, or I might be missing some pricing model. Definitely that will educate me as well. So let us discuss about what I have listed here. As part of the Azure VM, we have pay as you go. That means like pay as per your usage, and then reserved instances you can reserve for 1-2 years, so that you can save a lot of cost on the VM instances. For example, maybe up to 30-40% you can save if you give a commitment to the cloud provider. That means they will give you the upfront discount on that particular VM instance when you commit for the 3 years reserved instance. The other model is like spot instances. Spot instances will really save a lot of cost. It will be almost same as reserved instances, but this should be used or shall be used for only the temporary requirements, because there are a lot of unused instances which you can make use of them for your temporary like dev test or maybe some testing type of workloads, security, quality, or those kind of test loads you can try out on the spot instances. The reason being is like when they get more requests, they'll pull back those instances what you're using under the spot instances. As I mentioned, it is good for the temporary requirement, not for the permanent requirement such as production or staging environments. Coming to the Amazon EC2, they have plenty of options available on demand, which is equivalent to pay as you go. Like you, based on your demand, you use it, and whenever you don't want, close it. But you will be paying as per your usage. Next one is reserved instances. Then here also you have a saving plan based on your commitment given. Spot instances, again, it is you can bid those as usual, like Azure VM. You can bid for those instances and can get it for the lower cost, and then whenever they have requirement, they will pull back. The next one is schedule instances. You can also use it schedule based instances, dedicated instances, then capacity reservations. You can also reserve maybe 20-30 different instances. The capacity itself you can reserve. Coming to the Google Compute Engine, these guys follow completely different pricing model, but it is really good because they charge for a minimum of 10 minutes use After 10 minutes, instances are charged in 1 minute increments, rounded up to the nearest minute, and also it will save you when you use more than a month. So that's where the sustained models will come. If you're using for more than a month, then automatically your pricing will come down. This is a major advantage. They don't have like a spot, reserved, and all those models, but rather based on the type of usage, they will reduce your cost. And also they will say they will give you some discounts, like if you are using more than a month or more months. So next one is, they have different instances types. Just I don't need to really remember each and every instance type, but I just listed down. Azure VMs got like general compute optimized, memory optimized, storage optimized, GPU optimized, high performance compute. As I mentioned, as an administrator, you have to suggest or recommend a right VM instance to the customer. Like in case if you have a very small requirement, or you are configuring dev or test type of environment, then probably you can suggest general purpose. Then if you have some kind of memory optimization required for your requirement, like a high memory to CPU ratio, or you need medium to large cache, then you can suggest memory optimized. Similarly, like you have GPU, high efficient GPU processors, then you can recommend GPU optimized. So similarly, you have EC2 general purpose compute optimized, memory optimized, storage, dense storage instances, accelerated, sorry, it's dense instances, not dense storage, accelerated computing instances. Then compute engine, that is GCP, has general purpose compute optimized, memory optimized, shared core machine, GPU optimized. GPU optimized is like on top of N1 instance, you can add or attach GPU processors. It's not like separate instance, it's the same instance N1, which comes under the general purpose, but you can attach GPUs to that particular instance, but it is not possible for any other instance to attach GPUs. Only the N1 is possible. So yeah, you have to understand like what are the various types you can recommend for the customer. Why you should know all this? Because in case if the customer requirement is very small to just set up a simple server, but if you're suggesting some GPU optimized or high performance based processors, then they are unnecessarily paying more than the required. That means overcosting to the customer. That is the reason you should at least know a little bit, so that you can recommend the right instance. And just to understand like how you can deploy the various things, I have made different series here. You can see create and deploy Azure with easy steps. So you can as part of this, I'm creating a VM instance, and then I'm deploying the websites to that particular VM instance. Similarly, I have created few resources on the AWS part, so EC2 creation and deploying that website. I have also done creating a EC2 instance and creating the Linux. I'll come up with more videos on the Azure with to create the Linux and configuring some kind of Apache server. Thanks for watching my videos.